Hey guys, it's Steve here again, and I'm actually on top of my roof. And I want to talk about something I read today that a coffee shop is doing. It's Starbucks. So I was browsing through the news this morning, came across an article on our local NBC news outlet, and it was talking about Starbucks opening up a location at the DMZ, and of course in South Korea, but on the South Korea North Korea line. Honestly, I wouldn't mind going there. I definitely want to go to the DMZ, but grab some coffee. Why not? But of course, most of the comments were negative. How could you sit there and sip your latte when you're looking at people in poverty? And that's true. If you're looking over into North Korea, which I have done, not from the DMZ, but from the China side, I stood about 20 feet, literally 20 feet from North Korean soil. There's an area north of Dandong, the city of Dandong on the northeast part of China that borders North Korea. We were a little bit north of that, and there's a there's a part of the Great Wall that goes to that part of China, and then it stops. And so we climbed up to the top of that. And then as we went to the bottom, of course, you go to the top, you can see into North Korea. And we came to the bottom, and my host was taking me along the shoreline. There's a little river there. And literally it's about 20 feet. No wall, no fence, no nothing. Just 20 feet of water between where I was standing and the North Korean soil. And there's these little boats on the China side that you could pay, I don't know, at that time, $5, $10 maybe. And they would take you to let you go across and rub your hand across the soil. Now, I didn't do that, but we did see some guards, and we waved at them. North Korean guards, that is. And my host was telling me about them, and sometimes he would go to KFC on the China side where he lived, and he would go over there and get on one of those boats and toss it over to them and just say hi. Which, a little fascinating. But anyways, yeah, there's a lot of poverty over there, and so people were complaining. And as I was thinking about that, of course, I wanted to comment, but I refrained from speaking into the nonsense because, yeah, while people are sipping their lattes as of a day or two ago on the South Korean side, looking into North Korea to people who couldn't even barely afford a loaf of bread in many cases. And yeah, there's a lot of starving. On one hand, it is kind of a weird thing to have a coffee shop over there, but the DMZ, let's face it, the DMZ is a tourist destination. People pay money and tour guides and drivers, and they sit in comfortable cars to go to a safe side of the DMZ to watch over and look into, and lots of people do it. So if we're going to complain about Starbucks, we got to complain about the whole system. But what I was really thinking about, because someone made a comment about this, and it made me think, how many times, for those of us, although I'm not the one complaining about the Starbucks over there, for those of us who complain about anything, that, why do we do this when there's poverty around us, when there's hunger around us, when there's homelessness around us? We just want to, really, when we say those things, we're pointing at something we don't like. And in this case, people hating on Starbucks, which is fair. People can hate on Starbucks all they want. I get it. But the reality is the same people are likely driving around. They don't have to have a luxury car, but driving around in a car comfortably and looking out and seeing people on the street, homeless, people peddling for funds, begging for funds, whatever you want to call it, people who are hungry and just driving right past them with food in their car, probably, maybe even with a Starbucks in their car. Or heck, if they don't like Starbucks, maybe it's a local coffee brewer coffee shop, but someone who goes to their own favorite coffee shop regardless of the brand. And they're driving around sipping on it as they're looking at people in homelessness. Because I know where I live in a nice place. I live in a nice town. It's a nice county, a nice part of South Carolina. But there's homelessness. And I see it almost every single day. Every day I leave my house, I'm going to see something. I'm going to see someone begging on the street. I'm going to see someone walking the street. And in fact, where I live, there is this guy. I don't know if he's homeless. Because I've never stopped to talk to him, but he's always walking quickly. And he's never asking for anything. He may not be homeless. I have no clue, but I just see him walking around the streets. Not in the neighborhoods, but on the main road not too far from us. The reality is everybody in my county drives by someone who's hurting, who's hungry, who's needs something. And we do it without thinking. You know, it's easy to stand on our grandstand, point at some group we don't like, and bash them for doing business or doing something that we just want to nitpick at. But my challenge here, let's turn the finger we're pointing and examine our own lives. Are we doing it? Hey, we may not be Starbucks. We may not be a giant corporation walking around. But what's the difference between having someone sip a latte at the DMZ looking over into North Korea, which is full of poverty, versus sipping on a latte in our cars driving by someone who's hungry in our own community? Because in reality, it happens every single day. And I don't know if these people complaining are Christians on this news article, but irregardless if they're Christian or not, you know, we really need to stop and think that when we start complaining about stuff like that, and I've done it, I'm guilty as charged. And maybe we just take a step back and look at how we're living our life and see what we're doing. And see whether it's truly matching up with what we're accusing others of not doing or doing, however you want to say it. Anyways, just some random thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Would love to hear what you think. If you don't like the Starbucks thing, yeah, I don't care. I don't care if anyone likes it or don't likes it, period. To be honest, it just got my thoughts going. And to be honest, if I go to the DMZ, I might actually buy something, especially if it's cold outside. Because right now it's cold it's cold in South Korea. It's cold right here, as you can tell. So yeah, I would buy hot coffee there. But you know, part of it is I can't go into North Korea and change anything. But praise God, some people can. Maybe it's slow, but that's a topic for another day. Anyways. Have a good day. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.